So about 2 years ago, I was introduced to a social bluffing game called Werewolf. Ooh! Who here has played Werewolf? All right. I actually just this afternoon got back from teaching people at Intel Research how to play this game. That's what they were doing as part of their 3-day retreat. So one of the people I first learned from was HB Siegel. And HB is a master player. He once terrorized a whole village just by himself, and he'll explain to you how you can do the same. Please welcome HB, but don't ever play Werewolf with him.
And I'm going to do it again. So, quick show of hands, who's played Werewolf? I want you everybody to look around and memorize somebody near you that's played, because when this is over, I want you all to play a game. Okay. So, Werewolf is my favorite game. I think it's the ultimate party group game. It's a lot of fun, and it's also known as Mafia. So some of you may have played in school. If you've heard the term Mafia, it's the exact same game. Werewolf's a little more politically correct these days, so that's the name that's used. It's also got a variety of interesting, cool roles. It's played with a group of people who comprise a village. A village is between 9 to 17 players. It can be played with a lot more than that. It's not a better game with more than that. So generally, if you have a very large group, it's better to break up into smaller groups of between 9 to 17 players. I prefer about the 13 to 15 player game. Those folks comprise a village. Among them, are we getting a slide transitions? Okay. Okay. So hidden among the village are 2 secret werewolves, and that's done by handing out these hidden cards. I brought a deck of example cards with me. The goal of the villagers is to identify who among them are the werewolves, and the goal of the werewolves is to one by one kill off the villagers. And meanwhile, a moderator runs the game. So I'm often the moderator. Sometimes I'm playing with the groups I'm with. Moderator introduces and runs the game, hands out the cards with the rolls, and tells people when to open and close their eyes. The game is played in phases. So a turn consists of a day phase and a night phase. Starting with the night phase, the moderator asks the werewolves to open their eyes. Everybody else has their eyes closed. Point to somebody who they want to kill. That person is torn to shreds. And then there's various special roles, which I'll describe briefly, that also take their turn during the night phase to help the villagers' side a little bit. The villagers, during the day phase, identify who they want to lynch. They do this by voting. The moderator conducts a vote. Accusations fly. The game involves lying, cheating, deception, false accusations, all your favorite stuff. It's just a great game. And there's a variety of special roles that are there to help the village. The seer learns the roles of one of the players at night. So the seer is the only person that's able to add true information into the game. They have to do it subtly, of course. Werewolf is an interesting game because it's quick to learn. The games are very short. Preparation is minimal. As you can see, here's a hand-drawn set of slides in Kingdom of Loathing style over here. There's lots of laughs, mystery and drama and pathos and crying and throwing up of hands and wailing. It's also a great introduction to logical and debating fallacies if you're interested in that. There's deep role strategies for every role. I'm going to try to use the last 240 seconds to talk about some strategies. It's fun to watch even for dead players. And that's actually fun to say as a slide term, as it turns out. Okay. Here's some common variations. You can either reveal your roles when you die, or you can introduce some optional roles. That's a set of commercial cards on the right-hand side. You can have optional kills or mandatory kills. And the first few games always go the same way. First of all, the novices try to kill off anybody that knows how to play the game. How many of you have had that happen to you? Yeah, that's kind of like seriously not fun, but it is a way to start. To be a good moderator, you want to optimize for player enjoyment. I'm not going to read anything else on there. The goal of the folks is to play a game, okay? It's not a scientific endeavor, so try to make sure everybody's having fun. You can avoid giving cues about who's doing what as well. How to be a good player. To be a good player, you have to talk. The one thing I always emphasize is kill boring players. If somebody's boring, just kill them, okay? And if you keep hammering that in, the game is much better. Great strategies. The goal of the werewolf, the meta strategy, is to create confusion and dissension among the players. Get players to accuse each other. This has a nice converse villager strategy, as you'll see. Arguing with your fellow werewolves, all the way up to the most advanced strategy of lynching your fellow werewolf. That's nothing more fun than that. Yeah. The villager strategy is to use your vote in your brain. You don't have a lot of tools, so you got to use those two tools. Yeah, lynching all liars is a great strategy. Since the werewolf strategy is to find and create confusion and dissension, If the werewolves kill if the werewolves villagers kill lit liars, they're able to rout them out. The seer's goal is to try to introduce their new information into the game subtly and not have the not be lynched by the werewolves. A couple of problems with the game. None are very serious. I put a couple of mitigating strategies down for how you can work around some of the challenges of the game. Not going to read through those. Maybe I'll just stand here quietly for a few minutes. That might be the best thing. So, metagaming, where people are using information outside the game, can be a little bit of a problem. Voting parity, where you start with an odd or even number of players, so the votes don't work out. That's pretty easy to fix. Games too long, reduce the number of players. And one side always wins to balance with the optional roles. If you don't have enough for a werewolf fix, there's a couple games that actually work and feel sort of kind of similar. Nice thread on Board Game Geek on how to play with fewer players, 5 to 8 players. There's a game called Bang. I don't know if anybody's tried that one. That has purports for a similar feel. There's a cool one called Office Gossip, which I've been dying to try, which plays similarly. And I don't know if anybody's played before 1986, unlikely, but that's apparently when the first werewolf game was played. There's live versions, IM versions, online chat versions, play-by-email versions, and a bunch of werewolf resources that I've gathered from the web. As you can imagine, there's a ton of information that's available on this game. So I look forward to playing with all of you, and I think there's a possibility of convening a game later this evening. And if so, have at it. But
thank you very much, HB.